For centuries, the galaxy had been under the iron grip of the Zorvans, a terrifying species known for their sheer strength and brutal tactics. The Zorvans were massive, their bodies covered in tough, dark scales, and their eyes glowed an ominous red, reflecting their malicious nature. Their advanced technology, powerful weaponry, and unyielding hunger for conquest made them an unstoppable force. Whole star systems had fallen before them, their inhabitants either enslaved or wiped out entirely. No race had ever stood a chance against their overwhelming power. But that was before the humans arrived. The Zorvans had heard scattered reports from their scouts about a distant planet on the edge of the galaxy called Earth. From their intelligence, Earth was a small, insignificant world, home to a species known as humans, who were weak and primitive by Zorvan standards. The Zorvans believed they would encounter no resistance, and Earth would quickly be added to their growing empire. They underestimated humanity's resilience, and that would be their fatal mistake. The first Zorvan fleet, led by a massive dreadnought, descended into Earth's atmosphere. The Zorvans believed that any species with enough technology to survive in space would surely be easy to subdue. Their pride was their downfall. They landed with an air of invincibility, expecting humans to cower before their might. But as the Zorvans began to deploy their forces, they were met with a resistance unlike anything they had encountered before. The first human soldiers to face the Zorvans were initially stunned by the sheer size of the invaders. The Zorvans towered over them, their alien weapons more advanced than anything the humans had ever seen. Yet the humans didn't back down. They fought with fierce determination, an intensity that was fueled not by the promise of victory, but by a deep desire to protect their homes, families, and way of life. The Zorvans had never seen such tenacity. The humans' technology, though not as advanced as the Zorvans, was surprisingly effective. Earth had been preparing for the possibility of an alien threat for years. After the first contact with extraterrestrials, humanity's military quickly accelerated its research into advanced weaponry and defensive systems. The humans were not as physically strong as the Zorvans, but they made up for it with ingenuity and determination. They adapted rapidly to the alien threat, using every advantage they could find, even the environment itself. The battle raged on for hours. The Zorvans, though fierce and powerful, began to realize that the humans were not going to fall as easily as they had hoped. The humans fought smart, setting traps, using guerrilla tactics, and coordinating attacks with surprising precision. The Zorvans were used to overwhelming their enemies with brute force, but the humans fought back with a creativity and resourcefulness they had never encountered. The human soldiers, though fewer in number, were not easily defeated. They relied on teamwork, working together as a single unified force. Each soldier was trained not just to fight but to think, to improvise, and to adapt. The Zorvans were used to dealing with civilizations that had no will to fight back, but the humans were different. They were fighting for their very existence, and that made them unstoppable. As the humans mounted a defense, the Zorvans began to take losses. Their fleets, once feared across the galaxy, were taking damage at an alarming rate. The Zorvans had always relied on overwhelming strength, but the humans were forcing them to fight on terms they didn't understand. The Zorvans' advanced technology began to fail in the face of human ingenuity, and they found themselves losing ground. The war took a dramatic turn when the humans launched a daring counterattack. After analyzing Zorvan battle strategies, human engineers developed a new type of weapon, one that could bypass the Zorvans' heavy armor. The Zorvans, believing their ships and soldiers to be invulnerable, had no defense against the humans' new weapon. The human forces hit the Zorvan fleet with precision strikes, targeting weak points that the Zorvans had never considered. Their massive dreadnought, once a symbol of Zorvan power, was crippled in a surprise strike. At first, the Zorvans tried to regroup. They retaliated with fury, launching wave after wave of attacks against human positions. But the humans had learned from their earlier encounters. Their tactics had evolved, and they were ready. They fought with a purpose, pushing the Zorvans back, one battle at a time. As the human forces spread across the planet, they liberating city after city from Zorvan occupation. The turning point came when the Zorvan leadership attempted to deploy their final weapon, a massive, planet-destroying superweapon capable of annihilating Earth's surface. The Zorvans were willing to destroy the very world they had sought to conquer rather than allow humans to defeat them. But the humans were prepared. Their engineers had anticipated such a move and had already infiltrated the Zorvan command center. In a daring raid, a team of human special forces infiltrated the Zorvan command ship, successfully deactivating the weapon just in time. The Zorvans, unable to comprehend how they were being outsmarted at every turn, began to panic. Their leadership, once thought infallible, began to fracture. The Zorvans, despite their size, strength, and terrifying weaponry, could not cope with the humans' ingenuity, adaptability, and relentless spirit. As the Zorvan forces began to retreat, the humans launched one final assault, pushing the invaders back to their ships. The once feared Zorvans, after centuries of terrorizing the galaxy, had been beaten by a species they had dismissed as weak. The humans had shown the galaxy that true strength wasn't measured by size or firepower. It was measured by courage, unity, and the will to fight for something greater than oneself. The news of the humans' victory spread throughout the galaxy. Civilizations that had once lived in fear of the Zorvans began to rise up. The humans, instead of seeking to conquer, extended their hand to their allies, offering help in rebuilding what the Zorvans had destroyed. With the Zorvans' defeat, the balance of power in the galaxy shifted. The Zorvans, now weakened and scattered, were given a chance to rebuild. Some chose to return to their home planets and live in peace, while others tried to rise up once again. But the galaxy was no longer the same. The humans had proven that even the most ruthless conquerors could be defeated. And from that moment on, the galaxy knew that no empire, no matter how powerful, could terrorize it forever. The humans, having defended their world and the galaxy from the Zorvans, became the new protectors of peace. Their legacy was not one of domination, but of resilience, compassion, and the unyielding desire to protect those who could not protect themselves. The galaxy would never again be the same, and the Zorvans, once the most feared species in the universe, would never forget the lesson that humanity had taught them, that no matter how strong you are, you can always be defeated by those who refuse to surrender.